Hi everyone, it's Locked Queen Bee and welcome back to my channel. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. I just want to give you guys an update on everything that is happening with me. Obviously, as you can see from my background, I'm completely in a different space right now. I am in the process of relocating, and so I'm starting to pack up all of my stuff, and I'm not going to be moving for another 2 to 3 months. But oh my god, I have so much stuff that I need to pack that it's just way better to get a head start, because my sister and I, we played college basketball, so we've always gotten gear for my teams. We played at 2 different colleges, so we've always gotten gear and stuff like that. And over the years, I have gotten rid of my stuff, so my closet is like maybe a fourth of what it used to be now, and it's still kind of like a lot of stuff, I think. And so I just wanted to really get a head start, go through everything, box up the stuff that I'm not even wearing. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I basically, if I have, first of all, my closet is already much smaller than my sister's and my mother's right now, just because I've donated a lot of stuff over the years, just to create more room in my closet for other things, and then that kind of thing. So my closet is already pretty small, and I'm a very simple girl. I don't like to dress up as much as I used to. That could change once I move, we'll see. But I basically wear 10% of my closet right now, which sounds really bad, but I really like to wear like my t-shirts, my leggings, all of that. It's just what works for me, and I feel comfortable dressing that way. I think a lot of the reason why I'm doing that is because, one, I'm not going out into the city as much. I'm not on dating apps. I'm not trying to look a certain way. And I feel like if that were still the case, I think I would be dressing a little bit differently, because I used to be wearing crop tops, leggings, all of that stuff, jeans. Oh my god. The last time I wore jeans was when I had to go to the city for an appointment. But before that, I probably hadn't worn jeans for the last 2 years. When I was working at the cupcake store back in like 2012 to 2016 or something like that, during that time period, I had also never wore jeans. I was wearing leggings every single day. And I get it, leggings are comfortable. Jeans, for me, it's always been hard finding jeans because I want my jeans to be long enough. I'm obviously really into skinny jeans right now, so I have jeans that are skinny. And then I'm actually really picky about where my waist sits on my jeans. So when I was younger in high school, my mom would always buy my jeans, and she would get them from this magazine called Alloy. And they make jeans, or they sell jeans that are that have extended lengths, so it goes to like 37 inches. Obviously, I don't need jeans that are 37 inches long in terms of the inseam, but I really liked having my jeans long and on the floor and flare and all of that. So anyway, with those jeans that she would order, they would be like low rise, and obviously everyone wore low rise back then, but I was just like, okay, whatever, you know, if they don't fit well, just wear them with the belt, all of that. And so there's used one pair of jeans that she bought from Alloy, I think, and they were like mid-rise, and I tried them on. I was like, oh my god, I love these, and I didn't know why. It was so funny because I for whatever reason, I just didn't realize low-rise, mid-rise, high-rise. I had no like concept of that, and so it wasn't until like years later that I figured out, oh, you like these jeans because they're mid-rise. So all of the jeans I buy now are mid-rise, and then I get them taken in so that they fit better in the waist, so that I don't have to wear a belt. I would hate wearing a belt because a belt sometimes just sticks out weird of your shirt. Like, I wasn't the type of person who would tuck in the front of my shirt to kind of like show off my belt, or you know what I mean? So my shirt would always cover it, and the buckle would stick out, and it would look stupid. And so there's that. So I always get my jeans taken in. The problem is, so I don't work out, which is really not a huge deal or whatever. I just make sure that I eat well, but every day pretty much for like the past month or so, I've been eating ice cream, so that's not good. But it's Halo Tops for the most part, so that is like protein ice cream, so that's not as bad. And then if they don't have the flavors that I want in Halo Tops, I'll get Haagen-Dazs or something else. And so, and that's my mom's computer, by the way, sorry. And so I've been eating ice cream every day. I do, for the most part, watch what I eat in terms of not eating like a bunch of fast food or like greasy food or all of that. So I make all of my meals at home, and that's really exciting because it allows me to save money, because before I was eating out literally every day and I didn't cook a lot. So I would get my salads out, I would get Chipotle, I would go to this place called Roast, which is like a stir fry kind of place. And then there's other food places that I would go to a lot. And so I've transitioned to making my food at home. Right now, my food is so simple right now. Oh my god. So I have a salad every day for lunch. I really love eating salad. I'm really picky about the salad dressing. And so there's something funny that I have to tell you. So when I was younger, I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina, and my sister and I, we would go to this place called Dean DeLuca. So it's kind of like a deli place. You can make sandwiches, salad, soups. They have a dessert section of all of that. So it's just like a regular deli place. And so that's where we would always go to get our salad. And for whatever reason, I didn't like a whole lot of toppings on my salad, and I was never like willing to try it. So I would always go to Dean DeLuca. I would get a salad with romaine lettuce, bacon and cheese, and balsamic vinaigrette dressing. And that was literally all that I ate. And it was so funny because my salad would be like piled high with like bacon and cheese. And it's just so funny because now that I've gone to like other salad places and I've tried different salads. So like, for example, Olive Garden, they have onions on their salads. And so that's why I started liking onions on my salad, and so and carrots, and obviously all of the other stuff. And so as I started going to like places that were specifically just for salads, that's when I would get more stuff on it. So now I'm proud to say that I will eat a kale salad with like chicken. This is just what I make at home. Like if I were getting a salad out, it would have kale, carrots, onions, apples, almonds, Parmesan cheese, turkey bacon, I think I already said chicken, and quinoa or rice or something like that. When I make that at home, I don't have the apples, I don't have the carrots, and I don't have the onion. And so everything else is fine the way it is without those things. I do add in cranberries just for like a little bit of sweetness or like a fruity taste. And then I'm really picky about my salad dressings, which is super annoying because it made it really difficult to enjoy my salads at the beginning, because when we would have salads at home, it would just be like romaine lettuce and like Olive Garden salad dressing, you know what I mean? So I'm the type of person where I really like eating my food out, and I like the way it tastes, and so I want to recreate that at home. And so a place I go to a lot or pretty often is Panera, and their white balsamic vinaigrette dressing is so amazing. And so I'm actually really glad that they sell those in the stores. So that is what I use on my salads now. I was trying like different store brands of balsamic vinaigrette, and I just didn't like anything enough to like keep eating it. And then once I tried the white balsamic vinaigrette from Panera, that was like a huge game changer. The only thing is, it's been really hard to find, so the places that I go to in terms of supermarkets don't normally have it. I was going to Target to buy it initially, but they usually only have like 5 to 7 bottles at a time, and they didn't always have it every time that I went. So I had to start ordering it from Instacart and having it delivered, which is it's obviously more expensive because somebody else is doing the labor and stuff like that, which is fine. But it's been annoying because the times I've tried to order it through Instacart, they haven't always had it. And so when I'm running low, I start to freak out because obviously that is the only salad dressing that I want to use on my salad. And so I just make sure that I stock up. Like the last time I went, I was down to like half a bottle. I knew that was enough for at most 2 salads. Don't judge me for how much salad dressing I use. So that was enough for at most 2 salads. And I had ordered from a place, a supermarket around here that said that they had it, and I had ordered 3 bottles. And so Instacart, they're really good about, they'll contact you and say, hey, you know, I'm shopping, this is what I have, is there anything else that you want? Or hey, you know, they don't have this, and they'll take a picture of what they do have. And so this last time that I went, the girl was like, hey, no, here's the 3 bottles that you want. And I was like, oh, something about what she said made me ask her if there was more. And so I was like, hey, you know, if there's more, can you get 2 more so that there's 5 total? And she was able to do that. And so I'm really glad that I was able to stock up the shout doesn't look that, because I don't go through the bottles pretty quickly, but it's just when I need to re-up, it's sometimes hard trying to find them. So anyway, so that's what I eat for lunch every day. I was making a lot of pasta, so I would have pasta up to like 2 to 3 times a week, if not more, because I really love pasta. I love pasta with like red sauce. I also like pasta aglio olio. There's a place called Macaroni Grill that my sister and I have been going to since we were like 5 or something like that. We used to go to it, I feel like, I want to say Canada, but I don't think we went to it in Canada. It was somewhere like Boston, Milwaukee, or somewhere like that, where we've been going to Macaroni Grill. And it's a restaurant where they have paper on the tables and you can draw on them. So we used to do that as little kids, and so we just always like going to Macaroni Grill. And so I don't even remember what I used to get when I was younger, but in high school I started getting something, well actually no, in high school I would always get spaghetti with meat sauce, because I love spaghetti with meat sauce. So any Italian restaurant I go to, I get spaghetti with meat sauce. So for some reason I started trying aglio olio. That's what my mom and my sister, they always get. And what they would do is they would give you like a little like a notepad, and it's basically a menu where you kind of like check off what you want and create your own. And so we would always get aglio olio, and so that was something that I tried recreating at home, and for the most part it's okay, but I don't always like the way it tastes when I make it, so I don't make that as much. So I was making meat sauce, but the meat sauce was a little weird, and my sister, she always says that my food stinks, so that makes me less inclined to make my spaghetti with meat sauce. So I'm sure you guys are better cooks than I am. So what I was doing with my meat sauce is that I would cook the meat first, strain it, then I would put it back in the pan, put the sauce in, let it kind of like heat up together, and then once it was hot enough, I would store it in the freezer. And so what would happen is I would section it into containers, so that basically meal prepping, so that it was easier to kind of like make my meals, because the sauce was already separated. So I would defrost it, cook my noodles, and then heat up the sauce and then put it on my pasta. And my sister would always say that it stinks, so I would kind of get sick sometimes eating it. So tell me what I was doing wrong in the comment section if you don't mind. So I stopped making spaghetti sauce. I was making I'm not gonna pronounce it right, but buca di beppo, whatever. That restaurant, it's not a restaurant that I go to a lot, but it is something that I discovered through a basketball teammate that I had in high school, and it's basically just family style dishes, Italian dishes, and they have something called spicy chicken rigatoni, which I absolutely love. So it's just like rigatoni noodles, a spicy red wine or red rosa sauce or whatever, and then chicken, and then and the dish that they make at that restaurant, it comes with peas. I don't like peas, so I just make it without. And so I've always enjoyed eating that when I made it at home. I just got sick of it after a while, so I wanted like meat sauce, you know what I mean? So that's why I started making the meat sauce. And I haven't gone back to the spicy chicken rigatoni. Even though I don't use rigatoni noodles, that's just what I'm gonna call it, so you guys know what I'm talking about. So I haven't made that in a while. I did want it the other day, but I ended up ordering pasta from this other place that I go to. And I also need to figure out how to make that. It's like a vodka sauce. I did try to buy a jarred version and like kind of like add my own stuff to it to make it like taste better or whatever. But I don't like the base of the sauce like from the jar. So I need to find a different brand to kind of like experiment with to recreate that taste that I already like. The other thing that I'm making now is just chicken tenders. So I wouldn't say that I'm a bad cook, but I have been getting food poisoning a lot, which is not great. So don't be afraid to eat my cooking. I'm getting better at it and just like being really like consistent with what I make. And I know that sounds bad, but bear with me. So anyway, so my mom made these really good chicken tenders, and she would make them in like the pan on the stove. And whenever I cook, I always like the apartment gets smoky, and so I'm always like, I'm not burning stuff, but it's just in less time of me cooking, I'm already like not messing up the food, but I'm like okay, like I should be done cooking by this point, you know what I mean? Because it's I don't know what's weird, it's just weird when I'm cooking. And so I like eating the chicken tenders because I want to recreate what my mom makes, but I don't like making them on the stove, so I started baking them. And it took me a while to kind of like figure out how to bake them, like at what temperature and for how long. So at first I was doing like 370 degrees, and I would cook them for like 40 minutes. And with chicken tenders, you shouldn't have to cook them that long. And so the thing is, in New York, I live in an apartment that doesn't have AC, so whenever I cook in my kitchen, it always gets really hot. And then when I was using, and because I've been hearing lots, I don't always hear the beeping, so that is like kind of like another like issue with me cooking. And so I would use stuff in the oven, and my uncle installed smoke alarms, and so every time I used the oven and I would make like my potato fries or whatever, I would put oil on the aluminum foil and it would kind of like burn or whatever, and so it would set off the smoke alarm. So that's why I don't always like using the oven here specifically. But then also too, if I turn up the oven too high, then the kitchen gets really hot, and that's not comfortable. So I was making the chicken at 370, and then I started doing it at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. And my chicken has come out much better. So what I do with the chicken now is, at first I was just using the chicken tenders. I was seasoning it with Lowry seasoning salt, pepper, thyme, and something else, and that's the way that my mom makes it. And I really like it flavored or seasoned like that because it pretty much goes with everything. So I kind of got bored of that after a while, so I started adding condiment. And I don't really use condiments. I've never used ketchup, I don't use mustard, I don't use mayo or any of that stuff. But what I introduced into like my food routine is I introduced a buffalo sauce. That was really tricky finding a buffalo sauce because I didn't like any of the store brands that I got because they just tasted weird. So I tried a few different ones and I really didn't like it. And then I knew that Fridays had a bottled version of their sauce in certain stores, and I thought Target had it, but they didn't. So I've been having trouble finding that. I have been able to find Buffalo Wild Wings from Amazon, which is really good. And so when I first started buying the buffalo sauce, I knew that I needed something that was low heat because since I broke my nose, anytime I eat spicy food, my nose always runs, and it's super annoying, it's super embarrassing. So I know that I can't handle having high heat when I have buffalo sauce. So I needed something that is low heat, but everything I found, like I basically couldn't finish my food because it was so hot. So I knew that I needed to find something else, and so Buffalo Wild Wings, they have like their medium, they have their mild, medium, and high, I guess, or hot. And so I started with the medium. That was too hot, I couldn't finish my food, so I was like, okay, you need to get mild. So I got mild. My sister, she's been eating the medium or using the medium, and so we'll just re-up on that like every week or every 2 weeks or something like that. So I introduced that. I found a teriyaki sauce that I like. I'm really picky about the way things taste, so I actually tried 2 versions of it. One brand was like this like organic brand of teriyaki sauce. This other one was Very Island teriyaki sauce. I don't remember the brand, I probably can't pronounce it anyway. But I liked the Very Island teriyaki sauce. I had my mom try it, I had my sister try it, and they both said that both were good. My sister joked and said that I think he got ripped off at first, so she's just being funny. And so they both agree, or my sister, who kind of like knows my taste buds better, she said that I would like the Very Island one, which is the one that I like. And so I've been using that. It's super amazing. I dip my chicken in it, and it actually reminds me of getting hibachi food, even though I don't get teriyaki food when I get hibachi food. I just get like the soy sauce and the ginger sauce or whatever. So it kind of reminds me of that type of food. So I really enjoy having the buffalo sauce and the teriyaki sauce with my food, with my chicken. I don't really experiment too much with sides. Like in the beginning, I did have like canned corn and canned green beans, but I haven't really made that much. I used to make turkey burgers, but I haven't been making that as much either, and I want to introduce that into my food routine just because right now I'm literally just eating salads and then chicken tenders with whatever side. So right now my sides are a baked potato. I will cut that up into fries, and then I'll use the air fryer to cook that. The other side is just rice. So what I found with rice is that if my food is dry, like if my meat is dry, I can't have like dry rice as well, which sounds kind of gross. So for example, I used to have the chicken tenders with like basmati or jasmine rice with lemon and pepper. It's actually better with lemon and herb. I can't find lemon and herb anywhere here. And I could probably order it online, but I haven't thought to do that. So lemon and pepper is what it is. And so that's just like a really dry meal. So I prefer to have white rice with butter and sugar. I know that that's kind of like a southern thing. I remember, sort of related but not really, I remember in middle school when you have like lunch in the cafeteria and they would have rice, and I don't really remember them having butter and sugar, so I always put salt on it. And so I remember I was eating my rice with salt and it looked plain or whatever. And so a friend or a classmate came over and she's like, hey, you know, what's on your rice? And I was like, oh, you know, just salt. Or maybe she saw me putting salt on it or something like that. And then she's like, oh, you use salt? I use butter and sugar. And I was like, yeah, I use butter and sugar, but they don't, you know, have it. And so you have to find like different ways of like seasoning your food, right? And so for the most part, it's just white rice, butter and sugar. I do want to bring back the turkey burgers. Turkey burgers and corn, that would go well. And then I do want to reintroduce pasta. I just don't know what kind of sauce I'm gonna use because I don't want the same stinky issue with the meat sauce. And then I don't want to be bored of the spicy chicken rigatoni sauce. So I'm gonna figure all of that out, especially once I move, because I'll have access to better supermarkets. That sounds rude, but where I live, the supermarkets are kind of like packed and like small stores, so there's a lot of stuff that's packed into the stores already, and they don't have like a lot of options of something, you know what I mean? So like I'm really excited about going to Harris Teeter because first of all, Harris Teeter's, those are usually like really big supermarkets. There's like aisles and aisles and aisles of like food. And so I'm excited about being able to shop consistently and regularly in a bigger supermarket. I'm excited about just having more options and alternatives when I go shopping, so that's going to be exciting. And then yeah, so I think that's it that I want to say about my food. This was really supposed to be a video on like my skincare and my hair update, and somehow we just started talking about food, so we're just gonna roll with it. So we talked about moving, we talked about food. Now let's go ahead and talk about my hair, which is why I brought you guys here. Well, one of the reasons. So I actually just finished doing my retie. So it I did my retie differently. Normally I sit in the living room with my ring light behind me and my camera set up, and I spend about I want to say maybe 5 to 7 hours sitting down, not straight. Sometimes it depends on like when I start and how I feel. But I'll just do the back section, and then I actually go into the bathroom to do the front side because I don't like using them with the ring camera. I need to figure out how to angle it because I don't like having the camera showing this side kind of like here, because then it just confuses me on which direction I need to go. So I did see a video where they had a camera set up like I do, but they had it from up top, and maybe that will work better for me. I haven't tried that, but I may consider doing that the next time I do my retightening. So for this time, I mainly spent most of my time in the bathroom. I did the back two sections first in the bathroom, then I did the next 4 sections in the bathroom, and then I did the rest of the back using my ring light in the living room just so I could get off my foot, because I have a foot injury from, I don't know what it was from actually. I'm really into wearing barefoot shoes right now, or foot-shaped shoes. So those are the shoes that are wider in the front so that your feet have more room to splay. And so the foot issue that I had first came up when I switched to wearing wide shoes. So I have something called correct toes, and when you wear those, you can wear them in your shoes, but your shoes need to be wide enough for the correct toes to fit in. So I got a pair of Nikes like extra wide to accommodate them, and those, because of the way those Nikes were made, they were acceptable, but you should really get foot shaped shoes. And so I ended up getting, at the time I was wearing Converse a lot, so they had a wide, so I got a wide. And I don't know if it was just like too wide to where my foot wasn't really supported, and it was after wearing those shoes for maybe like a few days that I developed this foot issue back in 2020. And so every now and then it flares up, and it actually flared up really bad maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I actually got myself a boot, and I committed to wearing the boot for like a week. I was supposed to wear it for 2 weeks, but it felt better, so I stopped. And then I guess I'd been standing up on the hardwood floor, and it triggered it again. So that is why I've been wearing my boot again and trying to like just make sure that when I am standing, my foot is a little bit more comfortable. So I probably shouldn't have been standing up in the bathroom doing my hair, knowing that my foot was hurting, but I just didn't feel like sitting down on my stool in the living room, so whatever. So the retightening itself was a little frustrating just because I was kind of like annoyed that I had to retighten all of these locks. It turned out well though. There are a few things I need to go back in and correct. So there's a lock over here that should have been 4. I combined it into 3, and 1 is like really big, so I need to go in and split that back into 2. And then there's something over here that's a little wide that I may or may not fix. And then there are some locks where in the body they're a little bit too thick, and so I just want to go back and redo those so that they're smaller, just so that when I'm retightening it's not painful going through the root. And I wouldn't say that any of it is painful, it's just like you have to tug a little bit to get some of the ones that are bigger through. And so if somebody else is doing my hair, are they going to be as gentle as I am? I don't know. And so that is why I think that if I just go ahead and retighten it to make it a little bit easier, when and if I do go to someone else, they'll be able to do it kind of more smoothly and with like no issues, especially since I don't know how gentle they're going to be considering the size of some of my locks. So the retightening itself was fine. I did have some moments where I didn't want to do it, but there's also moments where once I got into the flow of it, I really liked doing it. And so I talked about this in my other video where I talked about this whole method of installing my lock extension. And I talked about in that video where I did want bigger locks. So even though this is kind of like closer to my dream length, my dream size of lock I think would be a little bit bigger. And so I did have that debate about, oh well, do I want to cut my locks off? Do I want to start all over? Do I want to take some down, make them bigger, and put in new locks, and then kind of like work my way through without actually taking all of this down at once? And so I decided against doing that because one, I would be wasting a lot of money on hair, and I don't really care about that too much. Other people may care about that, but I don't really care about that too much because this was really just an experiment, you know what I mean? I'm sure there's other people who put this in and take it out and do it all the time, you know what I mean? I just was conscious of the fact that I did spend a lot of money to get this hair, and so just cutting it off may seem wasteful, but I've had, for the locks that I haven't redone, some of them have been in since like January 16th or something like that. So I've gotten a good amount of time with these lock extensions from the ones that have been in since I very first started. So I'm not gonna change anything. I'm not gonna go in and make anything bigger. I think I'm really just gonna let myself enjoy this style, this size, for as long as I can, because I've spent 2 years trying to recreate this. I talked about how I was really obsessive with the lock count, getting the low 400s, and this is really the first time in a long time that I've gotten this. Everything's either been too low or too high or whatever, and so I don't know that I'll be able to recreate this again, so I really shouldn't risk it and mess with it. And so that's been kind of an annoying back and forth conversation to go through of like, do I or don't I, you know what I mean? And so as of now, I'm not going to make any changes except for the changes I talked about. I'm not going to go in and make my locks bigger. I'm just going to enjoy this set and just go with it from there. I do plan on using the Crown Elixir for my edges because the locks here and here are kind of thin, and it's because I've been damaging my hair from all of the constant takedowns and all of that. So I do plan to introduce the Crown Elixir to my hair regimen in a little bit. I think I'm going to wait for another retie just to make sure that the base is solid. I did have one lock slip out in the back, and actually there's 2 locks in total that have slipped out in the back, and it's like the very bottom of my nape, so those really fine hairs. The right side slipped out maybe like a month ago, and then this one just slipped out either last night or the day before. And then I did have another one that slipped out. I had saw that I needed to redo it, but I didn't redo it at the moment that I noticed it because I was doing something else. And then when I went to go back and find it, I couldn't find it, and then I was doing something and I realized that a lock slipped out somewhere. I just couldn't find it, and then I found it, and so I redid it. So in total, only three locks have slipped out, which is good. Those were also the locks that I think were shorter, so they were maybe like 1.5 inches. So if you are doing this, make sure that you have enough hair that you can get a good amount of braiding in, so at least 2 inches, 2.5 to start with, so that you're sure that you have a secure base to attach the extensions to. That's pretty much my hair update. I did do this retie at 5 weeks just because I had quite a bit of new growth, and because I needed to get my mother and I off kind of like the same schedule. So basically our retightings would do the same week, and I was not gonna, obviously I could not do both in the same weekend, and so that either meant one of us was having to delay a retightening and go 7 weeks. My mom went up to 8 weeks, and she's dyeing her hair, so that was fun. So I did this one at 5 weeks, and then I'm supposed to do her in 2 weeks, and then my next retie will be at 6 weeks, but that will still keep us at 2 weeks apart, which is good because I do mine 1 weekend, take a break, and then do hers, and then we're good. So the other update that I want to get into is my skincare routine. So I've done, I think, 2 or 3 videos on my skincare routine. I talked about how I was using Paula's Choice, the chemical exfoliant. I talked about what spot treatment I was using, what I was using to wash my face, and the moisturizers and all of that. So I'm still using the zinc pyrithione bar. It's from Derma Harmony. I talked a lot about how I used to use the ZMP bar that was recommended by a black dermatologist back in high school. I really loved using the zinc pyrithione bar. I don't think I'm going to change to something else, so I definitely make sure that I stock up on that when I can, because I don't want to run out, because it's been working really well for me, and I can't really see myself using anything else right now. In terms of the moisturizers I'm using, I think I may have talked about this in my last video, I can't remember, but I do have 2 different moisturizers. So I have a day moisturizer with SPF, and then I have a nighttime moisturizer just to kind of like rehydrate my face. And then I still am using a fade cream to clear up the dark spots. So I have this section right here that's been super annoying and really stubborn about going away. I also am getting moles, so some of it is actual like black spots, like scarring, and then others are like little black dots that are like forming moles. So that's kind of annoying, treating that just because of how long it's taken to like lighten and all of that. So I'm still working on that. What I do want to talk about, which is a major update, is the Paula's Choice. So I really like using the chemical exfoliants instead of like manually scrubbing my face with the beaded face scrubs that I normally use. What I found is that with the Paula's Choice, using it twice a day, every day, was a little bit too much. And I don't know if you could see it in some of my videos, but when I would talk, my face felt really tight, and then my skin was very like waxy, especially my forehead. And so I noticed that something was kind of like wrong with how my skin was feeling and looking. Like my skin didn't look youthful, it didn't look like bouncy, it just looked like really tight, you know what I mean? And so I had to stop using the Paula's Choice BHA, and all of March and most of April, because it's April 26th now, I have not been using any chemical exfoliants on my face. I think I am going to go another month, so I think I will go all of May without using a chemical exfoliant or even scrubbing my face. All I've been using is a zinc pyrithione bar to wash my face. I don't use any scrubs or any chemicals or anything like that. So I think I may go ahead and go another month just to kind of like let my skin reset back to how it normally should be. I don't have as many, well, prior to me eating all of the ice cream that I talked about in the beginning, I wasn't having as many breakouts, but I am breaking out a little bit more now. And like for a while, my nose was pretty clear, but I've had 2 or 3 just like red big bumps pop up on my nose, so that's been annoying. I have something right here that's coming. I have this one here. My chin broke out for a while, which is really annoying. And then I've had just in other places like on my forehead and stuff like that. So I just know that I need to cut back on the ice cream, especially if I'm not using like the protein ice cream, because I think the other stuff is just like, and the light chocolate, it's really been, I think triggering or causing my acne to flare up. So I need to be better with that, and when I'm putting in my body and making sure that I'm drinking enough water. So I think once all of May is over with, I think I will reintroduce the BHA back into my routine, but I'll probably only use it once or twice a week, because I'm definitely not going to go back to twice a day, every day, or even once a day. So I think I'm going to use it only a few times a week, because I don't want to get my skin in that state again to where it doesn't look good. And so I think I'm happy with how my skin looks for the most part right now. There's just things I wish were different, which was like the scarring and stuff like that. So nothing else has really changed with my routine. I'm still using, I think, the 2.5% benzoyl peroxide. I haven't really considered going back up in strength, because what I was finding before is that with the higher strength I was scarring a little bit more, but I also don't know if that was because of the benzoyl peroxide or if it was because of all of the stuff I was putting on my face. So I've noticed that I don't scar as much or as intensely as I was before, so that is a good thing. I'm happy about that. I just don't know what the cause of it was. I'm gonna say that it was the BHA, in terms of just how aggressively I was using it, but it also could have been the benzoyl peroxide. So I may consider going back up in strength, especially for like the bigger breakouts, just to get those under control so that they don't become even bigger and painful and stuff like that. So that is my skincare update. I probably will do a few more videos in between moving. You'll probably see me here again. But right now I'm just happy to come on camera and give you guys an update on what's going on with me. Hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully you guys learned some new and interesting stuff about me. Don't say I can't cook, because I'm working on it. I'm getting better at it. It's not that I can't cook, it's just I don't like my cooking environment. So we're gonna leave it at that. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed spending this time with me, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.